When people look at large BNI chapters that are adding insane value to the members, you know the type, a chapter of 40, 50, maybe even 60 members, they usually assume there's something really special about it. I've heard things like, hey, they've got better business people in that group, or maybe they're in a larger market with more people in that area. But honestly, most of the time, that's not the reason at all. High-producing BNI chapters are usually built by ordinary people doing a few simple things really consistently. The strongest BNI chapters are not built on some hype. They're built on habits. And those habits are especially important during a new chapter launch, because whatever habits your group develops early on becomes the culture later. If members get used to showing up late, that becomes the culture. If members rarely invite, that becomes the culture. If people don't follow up, that becomes the culture. And if nobody schedules one-to-one meetings, that also becomes the culture. But the opposite is completely true. When members consistently show up engaged, schedule one-to-one meetings, invite visitors, follow up, and support each other, momentum starts building really quickly. And that's really attractive to both visitors and members. So let's break down the 4 habits that matter most during a new chapter launch. First, it's attendance. And I'm not talking about just physically being there. I'm talking about really being present in the moment. Engaged, focused, contributing energy to that room. Because every meeting matters during a launch. Every visitor matters. Every interaction matters. And when members constantly show up engaged, that room just feels alive. And the visitors feel that. Second, one-to-one meetings are so critical. This is where the trust really gets built. And that trust is what generates referrals. A lot of launch members wait way too long to really start building those relationships. They think, I'll do some more one-to-ones after we launch. That's way backwards. The relationships that are built before launch, those are the ones that create a lot of momentum after launch. The most successful members don't wait to connect. They start building relationships immediately. Third, inviting visitors. This is where the growth really happens with a new chapter launch. Without visitors, there is no growth. And without growth, there is no chapter. The strongest launch groups create a habit of inviting every single week. Not occasionally, not when they just feel motivated, every week. And fourth, follow up. This is where so many groups just lose opportunities. A visitor attends, they have a great experience, and nobody follows up in a timely manner. And that visitor is left thinking, I wonder if they liked me. And that opportunity is lost. Fast-growing chapters, they follow up immediately by scheduling one-to-ones with the visitors. That interest and speed communicates professionalism, and that follow-up builds trust. So let's be real. None of these habits are complicated at all, but they do require discipline. And this is where so many launch groups really start to struggle. They're looking for some magical strategy, some secret formula. But the truth is, most successful chapters are just better at consistency. That's it. They don't talk about the relationships, they build them. They don't just talk about growth, they invite consistently. They don't just talk about referrals, they create the habits that generate them. And over time, those habits, they really start to compound. And then suddenly, you've got this thriving chapter. So if you're part of a launch chapter right now, don't focus on where the chapter is today. Focus on the habits you're building, because those habits you create now will determine what that chapter looks like 1 year from today. That's it. That's how you build a 50+ member powerhouse of a chapter. And more importantly, that's how you build a chapter that generates real referrals and real business for you for years to come. Now let's get to work.